Glendale College. I'm Ann Ransford, Director of the Marketing, Communications Marketing and the Foundation here at Glendale Community College.
And I'm Dave Greenbaum, President of the Glendale College Foundation. Happy to have you joining us today and reminding you that our shows are on Thursdays at 7, Saturdays at 1:30, and Sunday at 11. And our guest today, we have a very exciting, fun story to share with you today from actually a re-entry student up here at Glendale College, a young lady named Mariella Freire, who applied and won a scholarship that had a lot of frills attached to it. And it's a fun story, and we're going to have Mariella share this story with us. And Mariella, start from the beginning, to start about how you applied for the scholarship, why you applied for the scholarship, and how this whole scenario took off.
Let's see. Wow, it is a long story.
Isn't it an exciting one?
I actually, when I came into Glendale, I registered with the PACE program, and it's
Now the PACE, you can explain to our audience what the PACE program is.
The PACE program is a program that's designed for working adults. You come to school one night a week and every other Saturday, so that allows you to work full-time and also achieve full-time status, student status. So it's a very interactive program, and my director, Bob Taylor, we toyed the idea. He knows me very well because I'm always down at his office getting new information. And I think it was through the internet. I was advised to go to the internet and look for scholarships.
And that was Bob that advised you?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we had talked of what's available for all students, and I did. And this was the conference for women, the Governor's Conference for Women. And I applied, and the requirements were, obviously for women, that was number one. I qualified. And then you had to have a certain GPA, and the qualifying GPA was 3.5.
3.5, so that's
yeah,
like a
so it was
B,
very
that's
high.
An A
yes.
level, right?
So it was, it was tough because although I do keep it, it's a lot of work. And there were 5 categories: business, and I am a business major at this time, business, education, science, and I was trying to remember earlier the other 2, but frankly I don't remember. There were 5. And sure enough, I applied, and I was at Bob's office repeatedly. Can I get my recommendation letter, please? And time went by, and okay, can I have my recommendation letter, please? So Michael Harnett in the English department, he wrote my letter, and through Bob. So that was very nice because he was my first instructor here, my first English class when I came back a year ago. And he gave me the recommendation letter, and I sent off the package. What other requirements were? Actually, it was just a GPA, female. You had to write an essay why you thought you deserved the scholarship, your goals, your plans.
And then fast forward us to the day of the event.
Oh well, then it was really exciting. Well.
And you knew
I
had
already
been
knew,
selected.
yes. I was called at work one day, and they told me that someone called me, and I answered the telephone, and I said, they said to me they're calling from the governor's office, and it was about the scholarship that I had requested, that I had applied for. And I thought, okay, they're gonna do background or something. And all of a sudden, she's static, she's waiting for me to say something, and I'm hoping, I'm thinking she's verifying because you have to have 3 recommendations: professional, academically, and personal one. And they just happened to be at work and one from here. And I thought that was, she was just confirming. And all of a sudden she was, no, you won. So sure enough.
What was the feeling of the people around you when that happened?
It was a Friday, so it was a slow day, and everybody knew. I can't keep a secret. So everybody knew, and I was scheduled a videotape session so they could present it at the conference. Kaiser did that. Kaiser donated those services. They came to my house. They videotaped my children at the tree house and talk a little bit about the scholarship and my educational interest and how I intend to use the funds, and obviously where where do I want to go eventually, and so that was that, and that was really exciting. Then we were scheduled on October 12th to receive the prize, but by then I was already worn out. I mean, okay, it kind of loses it. You have work and you have the children and you have so many things. You just, okay, just something else. And it so happened I was there late at the conference. I couldn't meet my group, and I had to sit with a group from UC Davis. And they did the presentation, they called my name, and sure enough, the people on the table recognized me, and they were pushing me, go, 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 and I said, no, it's okay. I was very upset by that. I was like, oh, I'm embarrassed to enter late, to walk in late, and they convinced me, and I walked in, and he was ready. I think Governor Davis at that time was he was apologizing because I wasn't there.
Oh, you were, and then you were all on the dais.
I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there.
No, I wasn't there.
You were on your way up there.
He was apologizing because I wasn't there, and I said, no, I'm here, because security wouldn't let me up, and he did, and it was really fast. All of a sudden, he gave me it was a very lovely presentation document, very pretty, and then all of a sudden I got a car. I don't know how, but I got a car. And now that was exciting.
Well, tell us how this car evolved.
It was fast. I remember walking up the stage.
But there were like 8 people who were the finalists to get this
There
car?
were 5 finalists.
finalists
I
to
was
start.
the one for the finalist for the business major, and so on. The other ones for education and science. And all I remember was I was late, and at that moment they were exchanging the little document that they give you, and all of a sudden they said that they had a guest, and the woman went up to the podium and she said that she represented Hyundai Motors of America, and I thought, no, that never happens. But all of a sudden they said get a key, and everybody else got a key, and I walked because I was the last one. I got the key, and Richards was there, who happens to be one of my heroes.
Former governor of Texas,
the former
right?
governor of Texas. And she, would you just turn that around and look at your key? And I saw it, and now that was exciting. I was very, very excited. I don't win anything.
And now you're the
that moment, and you have 10,000 people looking at you, and exciting. And Glendale was there, so that made it even more.
We had a whole table of, I think we had 2 tables actually, of women from the college. And they didn't know, they were so excited when they saw the video. And when I came to school that evening, they had just returned. And they were so excited about what had happened, and it was really quite a wonderful.
2 tests that day.
Oh,
and they told me, oh, no, let's stay together, find us, and we'll go to the school. And I said, no, I have 2 exams. I have an accounting exam, I have a calculus exam. I gotta go.
Oh my gosh.
I had to run from one place to another.
Well, just backing up for a second, you work full-time, go to school, and you have 2 children?
Yes.
And how is it that you are able to juggle all that?
It's difficult. It is. And a lot of people have asked me, so I kind of had time to think about it. And although you accomplish your goals, you work very hard. I mean, I go to work, technically work here, work at school, and at home. Something does give in, and because I do miss a lot of time with my children. I mean, but I know that it's worth it. I know that it's good for them to see me doing that. I mean, for their futures, and also because I do want to be able to offer them more. So.
What was the first year that you entered college? What was the window between the time you've entered now to the time you entered initially?
When I graduated from high school back in 1988, I entered the fall of 1988, and at that time, my mother just passed, and my father passed 10 years before that. So I was very young, and it was very, very difficult. So you find the best atmospheres, environment, and what else when you're so emotionally, when you're so hurting and here, that to be with your family. So my brothers and I are very, very close. I basically raised them. I mean, we're very, very close.
And you had younger brothers?
Yes.
Oh.
And my mother had, I dropped out, I finished my semester, and I did well, but it was a struggle. It was such a struggle that now that years have gone by, and my baby is 9. So it's different, you know. I can leave, they can eat without me being there. They have everything ready. Now that I came back to Glendale as a re-entry student in August of 1999, and I'm ready to leave in the summer. So
And you're
I'm leaving.
off to Northridge?
Yes, that's correct. Yes,
That's
and
great.
I'm doing well. So
You never mentioned in your talk about your scholarship, did it have some cash or some money involved in that scholarship?
yes, it did. I won $5,000. That is to
$5,000.
go directly to my educational expenses. And as a matter of fact, the school already has received them. I received confirmation that they received the $5,000, and it's everybody. I mean, it's my children that allow me to go, and everything is fine, and myself that I want to do this, and I get a lot of support. I mean, I really do want to emphasize that type of program, it is so interactive. The PACE program itself is very interactive, because the group of people that you're finding are the people that you go through school with.
So you have a support group
Yes.
with all those people.
And this semester, as a matter of fact, I'm not in it because I have taken those classes. So I'm in the regular school, and you can see the difference day and night. So.
Terrific. Would you believe we've run out of time? And
Good. Great story.
I know you were all concerned about the interview, and
It was
hopefully the time
wonderful.
wouldn't go fast
We
enough.
certainly
and it
wish
does,
you-
always does.
Yeah, and we wish you the very, very best, and we're
Thank
so
you.
proud of you here at Glendale College.
Thank you.
And thank you for being our guest. And we'll be back after this break.
Hey there, Glendale College alumni. Have you joined the Lifestyle Fitness Center yet? Located in the North Verdugo Gym, this state-of-the-art facility is here for you. Come in and use the weights, treadmills, stationary bikes, and don't forget to check out the rock climbing wall. The hours of operation are flexible, so the Lifestyle Fitness Center can accommodate all different types of schedules. Make a commitment to your health. Join the fitness center today. Call 818-240-1000, extension 5845. We'll see you in the gym.
We're back with Gateways to Glendale College. And Ann, we have a guest on the second part of the show that I think has got an incredible background, a varied background, and an interesting background. And I'm going to have you do the honors of introducing
Well, it's
our guest.
always a pleasure to have students with us, and this show is about the talents of our students. And Carolyn Howard Johnson, after reading about our show in the newspaper, I think, came into my office and told me a little bit about her background, and I said, yes, you'd be a great guest. And Carolyn has been here at Glendale College since...
1967. Hate to admit it, but it's the truth.
Yeah, that's great.
My children were about 6 when
Uh-huh.
I started here.
And so you've really seen changes on this campus, huh?
Oh yes, the campus was always a nice campus. Always loved it, but it's gotten more beautiful every year. And it had been a while since I'd been here when I came back last semester, and the changes were just fantastic. I think it's one of the most beautiful campuses in Southern California.
Well, we think so too.
Yeah.
Which probably leads me
Right,
into,
that's right. What a
that
segue.
we're anxious to, one of the purposes of the show is to get the word of what we have up here at Glendale College out to the community. And we are doing that through our TV show here, through tours of the campus, and through a slide presentation that we are taking out through the different organizations and service clubs in this town, or the outlining areas also. But we do have tours that we are anxious to have the community come to the campus, have lunch with us, take an hour tour of the facilities and everything that's behind our main administration building there on Glendale College. There's so much to see. It's truly a state-of-the-art facility, as you've seen the changes as you mentioned, which I wanted to ask, have you gone to Glendale College here every year since 1967, or did you have a few sabbaticals along the way?
No, I left. They say that they try to get the students to move on to four-year colleges, and they finally got me to move on. I went to SC, graduated, and came back. It's kind of a lifetime thing, I think, education anyway. But you mentioned the tours. I have a 16-year-old grandson, so it's time for him to take the tour and be a third generation at Glendale College, probably.
And a third generation because you're...
My daughter's here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wouldn't want me to tell you how old she was.
That's okay.
But she studied liberal arts, and now she's back starting again as a math and science major. Her name's Erica Lamoureux, and she has loved the math and science department here too, and is actually finding that she loves math, which is a brand new thing for her.
That's wonderful. That's great.
What courses are you taking at this current semester?
I came back to take ballet.
Really?
I'm probably the oldest person ever to take ballet, and I take I'm honing my skills on computers because I learned on an Apple II 20 years ago, and everyone's using PCs now. And I've been writing, and I need to be able to transfer the articles I write to the newspapers and to the publishers, and I'm a little rusty on that. It used to be that computers were isolated. You worked on your own computer. It didn't hook up with anybody else's. So I need to get some new skills.
Well, speaking of writing, I know that you've published or written a book, and Anne, why don't you kind of delve into that with Carolyn?
Well, I have this nice little article that you wrote that life begins at 60, and so
Yeah,
it
it
sounds
does.
like you've got some really wonderful things you're doing for the first time, and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, actually, I started out with a career in writing. I was the youngest to ever be hired by the Salt Lake Tribune as a reporter. I was only 18 years old.
So out of high school you were?
Believe it or not, I was a freshman in college when they hired me. And then I went to New York with my husband while he was getting educated, and I worked for Good Housekeeping magazine. And then I gave it up to have family and to get educated, finish that education. Right. And that's what women did a lot more back then than they do now. And now I'm back. We just retired, my husband and I. And he started classes at Glendale College too. He took his first drama class, and he's enjoying that, and has had some parts. So Glendale College has been instrumental in both of our kind of return to career and second careers.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about this writing project this book that
yes.
you've written. We want to hear
Well,
about
the time I was at the Salt Lake Tribune, I had this idea that I would write the Gone with the Wind, excepting about Utah, which was where I was born and raised. Yeah. And it gestated for, I think, about 42 years, and I finally got a chance to write it. It's called This Is the Place, and This Is the Place is what Brigham Young said when he went into the Valley of Utah and led his pioneers and said that this is where we're going to finally settle. So at one level, the book's about that, but at other levels, it's really about finding the place within you. And it's about a young woman in Utah who's half Mormon and half non-Mormon, so she has a unique vision. And it's fiction. And the basic premise of the novel is that intolerance is an insidious thing that sometimes attacks when you don't usually expect it to. It isn't always black against white or religion against religion, but sometimes it's about things that you're not even aware of at the time.
This is the place, is it something about your life too?
A lot of it is based on personal experience. It is fiction, I hasten to say, but there's a lot of people in there that maybe my family would recognize.
I know my mother wrote a book like that.
They're a little nervous, yes.
Right.
Some of them are really nervous.
And the book has been published, or in the...
It will be published in January.
Published in January.
By America House. It's a small press that publishes literary novels.
And if somebody wanted to get hold of this book and read it, how would they do that?
Well, in January, you go to Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble.com. It'll be there for sure, and I don't know what other bookstores, but I'm certainly hoping there'll be some in Glendale who want to carry it.
Maybe you'll do a signing here.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
What other changes have you noticed since 1967, since you first stepped on foot here on campus, I guess with the student population, and you mentioned some of the changes in the facilities here. Can you share some of that with us,
Well, the
Carolyn?
facilities are just exquisite. They were always very nice. It was always a really open, pleasant campus. And the smallness of it is nice too, especially for some students. It was close and I liked that. But since then, it is really, it matches. Have you noticed that the architecture all is coming together and feeling
Yes.
like it belongs? And now that they're doing the new quad in the center with the grass and the trees, I just think it's going to have a flavor, a really exceptional campus flavor. And there's something about going back to the school in the fall, you know, and carrying your books along the campus.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also a much more varied campus in terms of the student population. When I was there, began in 1967, Glendale was a different makeup demographically. And certainly the population of the school reflects that. And I think it's a far more exciting place to be now. We have ethnic activities in the quad at lunchtime, lots of ethnic foods to eat. By the way, very reasonably priced.
Really?
Yes.
And I think it's been very exciting. I've also been impressed with the friendliness
I
when
was
I've
gonna-
been back, because I do not feel the least bit out of place
That's
as an
what I was
older
going to
student.
ask you. As a senior citizen, do you feel you're unique, or the students, the younger students, look at you as kind of an oddity or anything like that? You don't feel
Well,
that,
you know
huh?
what, there are a lot of more older students coming back, but I thought that I would feel some of that. But even in a ballet class, and if it shows up any place, it's going to show up in a ballet class, the difference in age. They have just been delightful, and many have come out of their way to make me feel welcome. And I've been very impressed with the reception. I don't feel like an oddity on campus, if that's, you know, not at all.
Good. You know,
Yeah.
our faculty, I know, really enjoys when they have mature students in their classrooms, because they think it's a good balance for the rest of the students. And speaking of faculty, you've been here for a while. Tell us about, you've seen a lot of faculty over the year. Tell us about your favorite faculty
Right.
person and who that
Well,
was and why.
a few years ago I took hieroglyphics from Leonard deGrassi,
Oh, he's always
and
a
I was
favorite.
surprised that he was still here.
Yeah.
And he, my daughter's taking his famous art class this semester. During the summer, I went on the Prague,
the study abroad.
the study abroad program. It was very exciting. Ted Stern was the music teacher on that. And I understand that he's a very popular teacher. You have to kind of enroll early to get his class. You cannot imagine the feeling of hearing him lecture on music while you looked out over the city of Prague. The music just came alive. It was an absolutely wonderful experience. 29 or 30 days, I think, of studying at Charles University with teachers like Ted Stern. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Where from here, Carolyn?
Where from here? Just right. Got another book planned. In fact, I kind of was thinking about a plot that would involve Glendale College. It would be called, maybe you'll have to cut this, it'll be called Trash Can Woman. It'll be about a woman who comes back to campus and really gets involved in the campus, but finds that she's disappointed in the environmental efforts that are being made by the students and doesn't like the trash that they're throwing around. Her daughter comes back to school about the same time. They've always been separated a bit, and the new experience brings them together. And I guess I'm going to have to add a little romance somewhere too, but I don't know quite how I'll get that in.
Well, that
But
sounds like
Glendale
two
College
village.
might center it.
Well, that sounds terrific. Well, we'll really look forward to that. In the meantime, this is The Place,
Right.
and it's going to be published in January, February, available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNobles.com.
Oh, thank you. I trained you well, didn't
Yes,
I?
yes. We're so pleased that you were with us today to share so much about the college, and it's nice to see the success of our students here, and we really appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you very much, Ann, Dave. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure being here.
Well, thank you. And as I said, I'd like to follow up again about those who would like to take a tour of the college to contact our foundation office at 818-551-5196. We take tours approximately every 3 to 4 weeks. It includes lunch. It's an hour tour of the campus, and I know you'll be impressed, as everyone has, about the state-of-the-art facilities that we have up here at Glendale College, as you
It's true.
certainly have
Just look at this studio.
alluded to, yes,
Yeah.
about the terrific facilities. We thank you. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Carolyn, for joining us. And we thank you for joining us on Gateways to Glendale College.